वैसे तो भारत अपनी कई विविधताओं के लिए जाना जाता है। इन्हीं में से एक की आज हम बात करने वाले हैं। भारत अपनी हथकरघा यानी कि हैंडलूम उद्योग के लिए बहुत ही प्रसिद्ध है। मूलतः इससे इसकी ज्यादा हमारे ग्रामीण इलाकों में है, जिससे बढ़ावा देने के लिए भारतीय सरकार ने इस उद्योग के जरिए ग्रामीण इलाकों को रोजगार भी दिलाते हैं। हैंडलूम के इस आकार के व्यापार विविध संगठनों द्वारा कंपनीज एक्ट 1956 में भी शामिल किए गए हैं। हैंडलूम इंडस्ट्रीज प्राकृतिक फाइबर से टेक्सटाइल बनाने की एक परंपरागत टेक्निक है, जिसमें हम कपास यानी कॉटन, वूल यानी ऊल और जूट के धागों को बुनकर नेचुरल डाई का इस्तेमाल कर करके कपड़े बनाए जाते हैं। हमारे पूर्वज कई सालों से क्लोथिंग, बेडिंग और फ्लोरिंग इसका इस्तेमाल करते आए हैं और आज भी हमें इसका इस्तेमाल देश के कई हिस्सों में देख पाएंगे। हैंडलूम एंड हैंडीक्राफ्ट बिजनेस मॉडल एक लॉन्ग टर्म सस्टेनेबल बिजनेस मॉडल है, जो कि मुख्य रूप से छोटे स्तर के कारीगरों द्वारा इस्तेमाल किए जाते हैं। इस तरह से प्रोड्यूसर्स अपने प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस की अच्छी क्वालिटी को बनाए रख पाते हैं और अपने माल को डायरेक्टली उपभोक्ताओं को बेच पाते हैं। ये बिजनेस मॉडल भारत में बहुत सफल है, क्योंकि ये लो रिस्क और हाई रिटर्न अपॉर्चुनिटीज प्रोवाइड करते हैं। साथ ही साथ लोकल एंटरप्रेन्योर्स और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप को फायदे भी दिलाते हैं। The handloom industry was once one of the most important sectors in Indian economy, accounting for a large share of exports from India and contributing significantly to gross domestic product (GDP).
The rise and fall of the handloom and handicraft business in India is a story of extreme highs and lows. In the past, Indian weavers have been called the craftspeople of the world, but today, India's handloom industry is in crisis. India's handloom and handicraft industry is one of the oldest industries in the world. The industry has a long history and has been one of the most important industries for the country to grow. The handloom industry has declined over the years due to high labor costs and competition from other sectors. The traditional weaving process used by weavers involves a lot of manual labor, and as such, it lacks mechanization, which can be utilized effectively in other industries like textiles. The handloom industry is also facing huge competition from countries like China, where huge investments in research and development (R&D) create mass market products at low prices. The industry suffered a serious setback in 1973 when the government stopped providing the sector subsidy for yarn and fuel. The government also imposed a heavy duty on the import of yarns from overseas. These two factors resulted in the closure of many mills owned by large merchants and financiers, which led to mass unemployment among weavers and the loss of jobs for artisans. However, as time passed, this industry started facing problems like competition from other countries due to its cheap labor, lack of innovation and modernization, etc. In addition, there are questions about whether these jobs were created due to a lack of proper education for many of these displaced workers due to mechanization. India's handloom and handicraft industry are one of the oldest industries. It has experienced great changes during the last few decades, with the advent of new technologies and changing consumer preferences. The industry has been steadily declining since the 1960s, accounting for about 50% of all exports. The industry has now virtually disappeared from Indian exports, which account for only 4% of total exports. The handloom and handicraft business in India is a long established institution. It has been one of the most important sources of livelihood for millions of families, especially those in rural areas. The handloom industry has had a tremendous impact on the country's economic development, not only because it helped make millions of people self reliant, but also because it was a major source of employment for much skilled labor. Reason for fall of handloom and handicraft business model. Here are some reasons for falling into the handloom and handicraft business model. Number 1. Western influence in India. The westernization of India is another reason for the fall of handloom and handicraft businesses. Skilled labor, modern machines, and raw materials are abundant in developed countries like America and Europe. The cost of production has also gone down because of high speed machines that manufacture products faster than craftspeople can make them by hand. The fall of the handloom and handicraft business was primarily due to the influence of Western countries. Westerners have been able to export their products much cheaper than in India. This has led to a fall in demand for Indian products in the West, affecting their demand in India. The technology developed by Western countries has made it easy for them to produce goods at a much lower cost than that of India. Number 2. Skilled labor. The skilled labor required for handloom and handicraft business models is lacking in India. Skilled labor is required for making handicraft products such as cloths, bed sheets, etc. However, no trained workers in India can make these products. This has resulted in a decline in the demand for these products by Indian customers. The demand for such products was high during British rule because they needed them to be used in their colonies. But now they are not in demand. Number 3. Lack of raw materials. The raw material required for making handicraft products like cloths and bed sheets is also unavailable in India. Thus, running a business like this, one in India. Number 3. Lack of raw material. The raw material required for making handicraft products like cloths and bed sheets is also unavailable in India. Thus, running a business like this one in India has become very difficult. Moreover, there are no other countries where these raw materials can be purchased or produced, which has led to the closure of such businesses in India. Handloom and handicraft products are often made from natural resources such as cotton or silk threads, wool, silk waste, etc. These raw materials are scarce and expensive, which makes them difficult to produce at low prices. In addition, these products are also often handicrafted by artisans who may not have enough available supplies at their disposal. This means that even if demand increases due to increasing population or rising living standards, handloom products cannot be produced at affordable prices due to a lack of raw material availability and high cost of production. Number 4. Inferiority complex. The inferiority complex among weavers and artisans also contributed to their downfall. They believed they were less skilled than those working in industries like automobile manufacturing or pharmaceuticals because they could not access expensive equipment or machinery like machines used in factories. They also felt they were not as efficient as those working in factories because they lacked sophisticated tools and methods used by industrialists. Number 5. Lack of global demand. The major reason is that there is less global demand for them. The world has gone through a phase of globalization, and as a result, people started buying things from other countries. This also increased prices, which made it difficult for handlooms to compete with machines. Another reason for the fall was that because of the same reason, people started buying cloth from other places like China. Many people have shifted their focus towards electronics rather than traditional crafts, affecting their sales significantly. The handloom and handicraft business in India is a long established institution. It has been one of the most important sources of livelihood for millions of families, especially those in rural areas. The handloom industry has had a tremendous impact on the country's economic development, not only because it helped make millions of people self reliant, but also because it was a major source of employment for much skilled labor. In response to this situation, the government introduced a new policy that assisted in the revival of old weaving centers by providing loans free of interest on easy terms with repayment periods reduced from 10 years to 5 years. Under this scheme, an amount equal to 1 year's average annual growth rate (AGGR) was made available to establish or expand existing units and as working capital for new units or modernization efforts to improve productivity levels.